One day I vanished from public school in the 6th grade, didn't tell anybody, and I never told anyone what happened. And I feel like as a 24-year-old adult, it's time that I could talk about it. So in the 6th grade, I had an amazing friend group. I was so happy all the time and I had no issues really. And then one day, I never went back to school again. And no one ever saw me again. And I go out into public nowadays and I'm online and I have people from the 6th grade like, oh my God, I remember you just disappeared one day. No one knew what happened. Some people said you moved. Some people said you got sick. Some people said a family member died. Some people said you just transferred schools. No one knew exactly what happened. It was one day you were there and the next day you weren't, and then no one saw you again. And now we're adults, so here's what happened. In the 6th grade, we had a teacher who just overall really didn't like me, and I didn't know why. I never had an issue with teachers in the past. I was a really good student. I always got really good grades. I never got a C. Literally, I never got a C. I always turned in my homework. I wasn't very distractive in class. I wasn't super talkative in class too much. I was always scared of being in trouble, so I would try everything I could to not get in trouble. I was kind of the teacher's pet, to say. I hated people getting upset with me. It would give me anxiety. However, this teacher, no matter how I turned in my assignment, no matter if it was correct or not, I would get an F. All my grades were D's and F's, and I've never had that in the past. And no matter what I did, no matter how I turned in my work, it was always something was wrong with the work I turned in. Even if the answer was correct, it was still wrong because of something that she would find. So I stopped trying. Every day in class, it was kind of like, if I spoke to someone, do you have a pencil? Do you have an eraser? Or anything like that, and I was as quiet as can be, I would get called out and yelled at in the middle of class. I felt like I couldn't breathe in her class. If I had to go to the bathroom, I would get death stared down and told straight up no. And for being in 6th grade, that was really traumatizing for me because I was very, very, very scared of being in trouble, scared of people being mad at me. Well, one day at lunch break, I went into the bathrooms that we kind of weren't supposed to necessarily be in. It wasn't like we were off limits to these bathrooms, but these were bathrooms for class time, I guess, not just the recess bathrooms. They were still bathrooms we were allowed to use. We were just kind of not supposed to use them during lunchtime, but the other bathrooms were taken and I decided to just go over here. And that's where I made the biggest mistake. See, these bathrooms were directly across from her classroom. And I went inside these bathrooms and sat down, went to the bathroom. And by the time I got up to go wash my hands, I heard the door open. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in trouble. And I heard the door slam as soon as someone came in. And the bathroom doors kind of slammed weird if it was windy, so I assumed nothing bad. And here comes in my 6th grade teacher. And she immediately begins to scream at me, echoing off the walls, screaming at me. And I am just sitting there oh my God, we were not told we can't use these bathrooms in the first place. Everyone just doesn't use them. We use the other ones. But I just went to the bathroom in a bathroom that's unlocked in a school campus. I didn't do anything bad. I'm not doing anything. She screamed and screamed and got closer and closer and closer to me. She eventually began pushing me around the bathroom, pushed me into the bathroom stall, pushed me backwards. I'm trying to go to the door, and she's bully blocking the door and just keeps pushing me into stuff. And these bathrooms only have 2 stalls, mind you, the disability stall and the smaller one. And then there's a sink and the paper machine and the trash can. And it's a very small bathroom. I start trying to make my way to the door, kind of beelining around her. And she shoves me so hard that I fall back, fall over the trash can, and hit my head on the fucking sink. From hitting my head on the sink, I felt nauseous. I felt sick to my stomach. My heart was just pounding out of my chest. And I don't even know how to explain it. I just remember being in so much pain. My stomach was in pain. My back was in pain. I had my eyes sealed shut, but I knew she was hurting me. But I was going in and out that I couldn't even comprehend what she was doing. And my head was just it felt like my head was blowing up with air. And I was exhausted and opening my eyes felt too hard. And then she got up and she left the bathroom. And I sat there and I sat there. Eventually got myself up. I looked at myself in the mirror and I just remember seeing complete pale, white ghost face. I puked my fucking guts out in that bathroom. Like, everything in my stomach came out and I could not stop. I even peed myself. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. I peed myself a little bit because I was puking so hard. And I got up and walked back to class and I sat at my desk for about 5 minutes. And then I got up, grabbed my backpack, and walked out of the classroom and didn't say anything. She didn't even acknowledge me when I walked back in the classroom. She pretty much treated me like I was non-existent. And I walked out and I walked to the principal's office, and instead of telling anyone what happened, I had dirt on my clothes. I was fucked up. Like, I was bleeding. I had dirt on my clothes. I looked like I just got jumped. And no, the staff was like, what happened? What's wrong? I just said I wanted to go home. They said, what's wrong? What's wrong? Tell us what's wrong. And I was like, I just want to go home. Just call my mom. I want to go home. And they called my mom. They said they are not sure what happened. I just don't look good. I told her I was sick. I just feel horrible. And she goes, yeah, you're pale. Like, let's go home. The next day, I didn't go to school. I was sick. And I played that sickness off every single day. And if my dad tried to force me to go into the car, I would vomit. I would shake and vomit. And it was anxiety-induced sickness. I was actually physically sick to my stomach. And he would drive me home and say, no, she's still really fucked up. She's still really, really sick. And my mom took me to the doctors and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. But yet, there was something seriously wrong with me and she wouldn't put me back into school. So I would just pick up my books, or she would go to campus technically and pick up my books and pick up my schoolwork so I could go home and do it and turn it back in so I wouldn't fall too far behind. I did this for about 3 weeks before my mom's finally like, okay, you're going back to school tomorrow. And I knew I needed to tell someone because I cannot go back in that classroom. And I was too scared to tell my mom what had happened. So instead of telling her, I wrote her an email. I fucking emailed my mom from my bedroom and told her what had happened, almost all the way. I sort of told her, but I left out so many details, so many very important details. I just let her know a vast, vague kind of answer as to what happened. And then I took a shower so that she couldn't talk to me about it right away. And when I got out of the shower and she called me in, she wanted me to go to the school and talk to the principal. And I was crying and just begging her not to. I don't want to. They're going to make me sit in front of her and I don't want to look at her. I don't want to see her. I'm scared to death. Eventually, she let me switch to a homeschool program and I just never went back to school again. And I never messaged any of my friends. I never messaged any of my friend group. I was MIA, like I fell off the face of the earth because I was scared if I told anyone where I was, where I lived, or any updates on my life that she would know and she would come after me. Because for some reason, I felt like she wanted me dead. I don't even know what made her do that day. I don't even know what sent her off. I don't even know what I did wrong that made that whole thing happen. But it has stuck with me to this day. And it is just so hard because I was so young and I still don't understand. I don't get it. But a lot of those people from school follow me on this account now. And as of this year, a lot of them have been reaching back out again. So hi everyone from 6th grade that's been messaging me. I do see your messages. And a lot of you are asking what happened. And this video is what happened. And I'm an adult and I should get over it, but I can't. And I'm sorry for disappearing on friends who needed me so bad at that moment because of stuff they were going through. But I couldn't stay. So that's why I disappeared in the 6th grade. That's what happened. And now I feel like with this burden off of my chest and the story finally being out there and told, I feel like I can now move on with my life and not have to take it with me. I don't feel like I need this weight on my shoulders to come into 2026 with me. I feel like I could leave it behind in 2025. I have no idea if I'm going to upload this video or not. But if it's seen, wow.